let's talk about what the payment is that you have on the mortgage right now and your interest rate. Do you know it?
My interest rate is 3.125.
Okay. And your
And
payment
is 2,913.
Okay. So according to what your numbers show here, you have about, what's your payment on the HELOC?
Well, the HELOC, we're going to leave, but I could pay on it and I do what you show me to do. Like you
Okay,
put your
good. So that satisfies
the
it.
payment, I'm not even, yeah.
Okay.
And Wesley has it to where the debt that I have, which is a very little bit of debt, he said, we're just going to kill that with your whole life. So I'm going to pull that out and kill that. So I
Oh, okay, good.
zero anything. My cars are paid off. There's no other debt.
Okay, so since you're using the infinite policies, what is your first initial deposit going to be into the infinite policies?
I mean, we gave 34,000 in,
Okay.
and then and this is just my husband's, I haven't started one for me. We have the 25,000 available right now to us.
Okay.
And so I'm going to pull out probably only 6 or so thousand. He said, unless you want the whole 25.
Okay. So the first thing I see when I look at your numbers is that when are you planning on moving?
Anywhere from 4 to 6 months from now.
Okay. So if you weren't in the middle of a move, I would say your absolute best move would be to move the whole mortgage into a line of credit and eliminate both of these and turn these payments into cash flow by using one line that would pay them both off. Plus, it would give you, your available equity at about 90% in Washington. Since you're moving,
I can tell you what I'm wondering about that I really want to do.
Okay.
I mean, my dream is to buy the next house with a first line HELOC.
Yes.
Our credit scores are anywhere always between 797 or so. My dream is to get out of debt, especially after we buy, take the hunk out of the house here.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's always going up. It's always appraising because we're close to DC.
Right.
Pay the house off, take that chunk, put it down on a house, but have a first line HELOC.
Right.
And that's what I was wondering if that sounded good to you, to be able to go into the next home with the first line HELOC and then pay that down as we go, use it, for investing or buying properties and in the money club and just keep generating and then get out of debt, because my husband, his dream is and he's going to continue to work probably for a year or two more. He wants to retire, and I can't blame him for that.
Well, I think that's a great idea. That's exactly what I was thinking your option would be, is to keep moving through this. Since you're moving within 4 to 6 months, I believe I would just keep rolling like you are right now. Then when you decide to do the sale, do exactly what you said. You take the monies available off of the equity, throw it into the new first lien. But let's see what that looks like. Do you have an idea of the amount of your next property, what the purchase price would be?
See, that's something I would want to know from you. I know that what I'm trying to do, I told the Lord, I need to know, what do I start looking for? My husband's going to be shifting jobs so he can be out closer to where we are with the same company, and looking for one that even has a little more income, but I don't know that we'll need that. So here's the deal. I want property like we've had before. I can buy a country home that's a little older with acreage and swallow that thing, just swallow it with what we'll be able to get, and turn around, just pay that off just like that, like within a few months, maybe a year, and be done with it. Or I can go into a nicer home, probably, I would say we could probably, I don't know, anywhere from 800,000 down is what they would probably say we
Okay.
So I'm trying to go, Lord, I don't want to make it harder for us. And yet we don't want to be living in a dump either. We won't do that because it's so expensive here. But you can find nice properties with a nice, decent house on acres for a good 500,000. And that's kind of what
So let's say that you get one for 600,000. Let's talk about that. So if you get the property at 600K, then you put in approximately 200K from the sale of your current property. So you would be financing about 400K. And based on, are you going to reduce the income when he retires, or will it be about the same?
I think it will reduce it down to, I'm trying to think of what it would be. So the Social Security, by the time he's 66 and a half, I think would be about 3,100 or 3,900. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm going to be investing anyway and trying to get things rolling at the same time, even soon here if I can. I'm just trying to figure this all out. That's the thing.
So if he has, say, 3,100 in Social Security, what would his retirement look like? Do you know that yet?
No,
Okay,
yeah.
because I'm trying to get an idea of how quickly you'll be able to get out of the 400,000.
I mean, his whole thing, he says, I'd love it if we just, got something that we could just pay right off. Well, then you're going to have to settle for a smaller home probably. So that's been me juggling things, trying to figure it out. It's been very
Okay.
hard. And I didn't know if we qualified for HELOC, but you think we do then for a
Oh,
first.
yeah, you absolutely
Good.
would qualify. The only transition I can see happening is if they find out that he's going into retirement when you do the application. So what I mean by that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
if he would maintain his income until after you buy the home, then there's no problems and you're good for 10 years. But if
Good,
they
because
find
that's
out
what
that
we'll do.
the
Yeah.
reduction in income may cause it to be delayed, and you
Well,
don't want
see,
that either.
he will be working for another year or two.
Okay, good. So let's just look at what this looks like. Okay. So if you did nothing but just move the $600,000 home into a first lien, putting down the 200, ending up with about 400,000, you're talking about paying that off with the income that you currently have, just giving you an idea, with the interest that would be charged. This would be the average monthly interest throughout from beginning to end of the loan or line. You're talking about right under 12 years payoff. Now, that's not with any additional monies. That's
Right.
not revolving that through your infinite policies.
Right.
That's with nothing. That's just where you sit right now. Now, what
Okay.
questions do you have about that?
I'm just trying to navigate this. It's been so difficult because I said, I have to know where. So I'm already aiming at a place that's much cheaper.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And one home I really wanted, and it's 499. No, it was lower than that. They brought it down. It's got 4 acres. And it's gorgeous. And
Wow, then you're
mountain lot.
you're going to cut half of the time off then if you
Yeah.
move into a cheaper property.
Yeah.
And you probably are going to bring in more money on that sale of the home that will help to reduce that as well.
One
So,
went recently for 800,000 here.
Mhm.
And so they were telling me today, they look at what's going on with the market, and they said I could get 774 out of this, and I owe the 453 something. So yeah.
if you got the 773, that would give you almost 300,000 instead of
Yeah.
200,000. So that would be great.
That would be perfect. And then we could just knock that house down.
And the interest rates, I figured at the high interest rate, I think
Okay.
they're falling. So
Yeah, they are.
a lot of things will come into play there for you.
Yeah, that helps me to know what to aim for. Yeah.
I hope so. I think that you're making really good decisions. Of course, when you've got the Holy Spirit leading you, you can't really make a bad decision.
Right. Thank God. I know. Thank you for everything you do. Yeah, I'm just so grateful for you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. If you think of anything you forgot to ask, you feel free to email me.
Okay.
All
I sure
right.
will. Thank
Have
you.
a good
God bless
week.
you, Christy. You
You're
too.
welcome. Bye-bye.